And if you do enjoy this kind of content, please if you do enjoy this if you do enjoy this kind of content, please.
It just took Liam 4 goes to get that right.
I hadn't got it right yet.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake.
And I'm Liam Blake, and this is Biggie. Say hi, Biggie. And welcome to episode 20 of our podcast, The Blake Debate.
You stole my line. I'll let you
Our
off.
line.
I'll let you off.
Okay.
So how is everyone doing? Welcome. Grab a seat, grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, grab a glass of wine, and we're going to dive into today's topic. What is today's topic, Liam?
Well, we'll just come back off of our holiday, haven't we?
Our holiday, yeah.
Our holidays. We've been to Marbella, so it's our first day back in the office.
So we're a bit
studio.
late back, but we've had a lovely time. We had a chill. I had lots of naps, lots of food, and I did have a consultation for some plastic surgery for my transition, but that'll be coming out soon.
There's more to come about
if you
that,
would like to know about that. But today's topic...
Well, first of all, people are probably wondering who's Biggie. So, if you follow Alexis on TikTok, you might have seen a video of my recent Aldi purchase. This is Biggie. And
I thought he was joking. I really thought he was joking when he bought it. He picked it up and I'm like, oh, that's funny. And he was like, no, I'm buying it. And I'm like,
yeah, too right.
Wow.
And she
okay.
doesn't approve, but he
don't approve.
He is here to stay. So I thought he'd want to come on the podcast. And what else was I going to say? And he's now my new cuddly in bed, isn't he?
He said to me the day he went, I told you I'd use him. I cuddled him all night. And I said, I know he used him all night because I woke up with him on my face.
Saying I used him all night sounds a bit weird.
Can we not for the podcast?
Yeah, no, I'm good. You were pulling his eye. Why? She didn't mean it. It's okay. I'll put him over there. He's got a little place down there. I'll put him there. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Say bye, Biggie.
Bye.
What? Oh, he said you really mean. But we'll put you over there now.
Okay, right. Today.
Today is gonna be the day.
What are we talking about?
So we're gonna have a little dive into
trans health in general, because health does change when you transition. It's something I learnt a little bit about, but I'm still learning. So if I say anything wrong, I always say this, please correct me below, or give me your experience below if you're a trans woman or someone who's had any health things to deal with, because life is, But one thing I would say is two things I'm going to say, actually.
Okay.
The first thing, someone commented recently, which really blew my mind, and I didn't know this until recently, but apparently when trans women start transitioning and we start taking our hormones, the estrogen, apparently we get less sick. It's like a thing.
Oh.
I don't know if it's proven. I don't know what science goes into it, but apparently when you transition, the estrogen heightens your immune system, so you get ill less, which I find fascinating. And then when I read that comment, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've not had a cold or flu. I've had one cold since I transitioned, I lie. I used to get a lot more ill more frequently before. So I think maybe there's some truth in there. If you're a scientist or a doctor, please let me know what you think, because I'm not 100% sure. But there's one thing I've noticed. And the second thing that I'm realising more, the more I go into my transition. At first, I was so excited to start. Sorry, I'm just talking. I'll let you jump in.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening.
I'm just holding his hand. When I first started transitioning, I was just so happy to get on hormones and begin.
You were very rush, weren't you?
I think a lot of trans people.
You were just like, I want to be a girl tomorrow, beautiful, all surgeries done, looking perfect. I'm like, babe, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Thank you. He always brought me back down to earth, which is what I needed. But one thing I didn't think about a lot in the beginning was my health, the health of my body whilst transitioning. Just as a blanket statement, you take 2 hormones to transition from male to female. You take estrogen, and you also take a testosterone blocker to suppress testosterone, if you didn't know that. So it's a lot of strong chemicals you're putting in your body, and I didn't realise that for a really long time. I don't know if there's a lot of science for the long-term side effects. We do have trans people that are in the 50s, 60s, 70s, so they have lived long, healthy lives.
I mean, Buck Angel, example.
He has spoke recently about the negative effects on testosterone. That's an interesting video that I would recommend you guys to watch as well. I think it's something you have to think about, and there's things that I'm thinking about, like now I'm quite close to the end of my transition and I'll have to take estrogen forever to remain this way, or I'll start going backwards if I stopped, or I'd ricochet into a trans version of menopause. Another video for another day. But I'm starting to think about doing the cream now of estrogen, because you can get like a gel instead of having the pills, because I've read that it's not as bad. Whether that's true or not, I'm not 100%. Again, let me know. But it's something to think about because you are becoming a medical patient for the rest of your life, especially things like bottom surgery. You have to dilate for the rest of your life. So all these different things. Have you ever thought about transitioning my physical health?
I thought you were going to say, have I thought about transitioning? I'm like, no, I'm quite happy, thank you very much.
Should do it. Let's do it together.
No, I'm quite happy who I am.
I'm kidding. Obviously. I do have a question for you.
Okay.
If that's okay.
No.
So let's flip it.
I said no.
Do you know what? I didn't even register what
You
you said. I
didn't,
just
did you?
ignored it.
You didn't.
So, as a
You're
partner...
good at ignoring, aren't you?
Shut up. As a partner, I say that with love. As a partner, still talking about the health of transition, how has it been for you? Because obviously you've been there throughout all the surgeries I've had. You've helped me in recovery. You've seen me in some pretty bad ways because obviously with surgery side effects, swelling, bleeding, oozing. I'll not go too much into it. But you've seen like my health in a bad way, I guess, after surgery and risk of infection and the risk during surgery to my health. How has that been for you?
Will you please stop shaking your leg? It's
Yeah.
so annoying.
I'll stop now.
It's been tough, I think, sometimes. Especially when, like you said, you're covered in bruises and black and blue and blood and stuff. And so Alexis got her lip lift. She got a lip lift a couple of years ago. And I took her for the surgery and I was in the waiting area for a few hours. She got the surgery. She comes out. Her lip was obviously, it was sliced there, but it was stitched. But it was oozing. It was like oozing blood and what's that other yellow liquid? What's that called?
Pus?
No.
Plasma?
It was leaking like blood and plasma. And bearing in mind, I hadn't had the surgery. And I was stood there and I was like, huh?
I was awake for the surgery. I was awake for 2.5 hours while I had surgeons performing on my face. I could see everything they were doing.
You could see it and smell the
I was
burning,
numbed.
couldn't you?
I was numbed, obviously. Yeah, when they cauterised, I could smell burning.
Ew.
But I came out straight out of surgery, and I'm like running around trying to find a nurse and get him a bottle of water because he was going to pass out.
I was literally this
so
close to
it's
passing
been
out.
hard then.
Yeah, and then you've got the risks of infection and
The risk while I'm under.
the risk while you're under. That's not nice, waiting around, because obviously being put under general anaesthetic is a stress on the body.
Yeah.
I know, like, ultimately these surgeries are to make you happy, but it still makes me worried and nervous at the time.
I get that though. I get that. It must be stressful. Like when you had your septum surgery, you had a septum widening surgery, didn't you?
Sinus. I had sinus.
Yeah.
I had sinus surgery.
That was awful because Liam isn't good with needles, hospitals, doctors, or blood. So can you imagine him going in for surgery post-COVID? I wasn't supposed to go in, but they let me in because he was having a bit of a meltdown.
Massive meltdown.
And they took him into theatre after 2 hours of trying to get him to sign the consent forms. I wasn't allowed in. He was crying. You were so stressed. It was awful.
I was a mess.
And then the surgeon came, the anaesthetist came to me and said, "You're going to have to come in and try and calm him down." So I had to go in, but I couldn't get the cap on my head because I had to full on surgery suit up, with the blue gown.
You had to scrub up.
And I couldn't get the blue cap on my head because I was wearing a wig at this time. So I de-wigged myself in front of one of the nurses. He was like, "Oh, where do I look? Where do I look?" He didn't know where to look, bless him. And I went in and it was awful to see. It's awful to see your partner in distress or pain or discomfort, isn't it? Like, I think anyone can attest to that. We got to a point where he was like, "I'm not doing it." And I just said to him very cleverly, I said, "Okay, you've got two options now. You either do it and have it done, and that's fine. But if you don't want to do it, that's also fine. I understand. But if you don't have it done, because of the constant problems you're having, we're going to be here again in 6 months." And he said, what did you say?
Get it done.
Just get the needle in.
Just get the needle in.
To put him under. And as soon as he said that, I looked at the anaesthetist and I was like, "Get it in now."
I had a massive panic attack. I was given gas and air, which made it 10 times worse. And then they couldn't get the cannula in. So obviously I was going through this pain. I was in a room. There was genuinely like 7 men staring down at me, laid on the table.
It was a lot.
And it was horrendous. And one of the surgeons was actually quite rude, and he was just like a bit about it. And he was like, "Oh, well, clearly you've got anxiety, so you need to get that fixed first." And it was just, there was a lot going on that just amplified the way I was feeling. But anyway, long story short, I had my surgery, which fixed all my problems because I was having reoccurring. I was having reoccurring sinus infections constantly, like brain fog. I was constantly poorly. It was horrible. I was glad I got it done, but I know that leading up to it, it was awful.
It was awful.
And when you've had your surgeries, I worked myself up into a,
do you know what's so
into a right
funny?
tizzy about stuff.
We're so different, right? So one of my previous surgeries that I've had, I went in chilled out. I was just sat eating a bag of crisps before I went in. Well, a few hours before, because you're not supposed to eat. And then as I went down to surgery, I had a tiny bit of nerves. And then when I was laying there, they were like giving me gas and air and they're putting the cannula in my hand. And I was that chilled out. Do you know what the last thing I said to the nurse before I went under?
What?
I said, "Are you going to tape my eyes shut?" And she was like, "Yeah, love, we are. We do while you're having surgery." I was like, "Please don't rip out my lashes." And then I was gone. And the first thing I said when I woke up from surgery, "Are my lashes still okay?" I think everyone, like, I'm very blasé. I'm a bit naive, which I think in this aspect of surgery helps because I just put on my blinkers and don't think about it, whereas you think about of all the possible outcomes.
I think about all the things that can go wrong.
The negative things,
I do,
guess.
and I focus on those. And the thing is, that was the first time I ever got put to sleep. And everyone was like, "It'll be the best sleep you ever had." And granted, when I woke up, I was so chilled out. I was so relaxed. And instantly, I knew that my infection had been removed from my face. I felt better already. I felt even a million times better straight after surgery. But make no mistake, the lead up to it was horrendous. And the feeling, the actual physical feeling of being put to sleep, I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it at all. I genuinely felt this horrendous kind of weird cold pain going down. Didn't like it, but anyway, you know.
You did it though.
I did it.
You did it, and it's made you feel better.
Yeah, and I'd do it all over again. But
that's
awful
the thing for me though. I think
experience.
in my head, I'm so excited for the results and getting like my gender dysphoria reduced because every surgery I've had has improved my confidence. It's reduced my gender dysphoria. It's made me feel more like who I am. So I think when I go in for surgery and I know that it's going to improve those things, I think that's what I focus on.
Yeah,
I'm here for a reason.
else.
I think that's what it is. Whereas for you, you couldn't see that in the moment. You could only see the negative, scary aspects, which it is. It is scary.
When I was signing the consent forms for the surgery, I mean, like, I'm immediately like, "What do you mean I could die?" That's what
It didn't help that the doctor said, "Can you just sign these consent forms? It's just in case like the worst case scenario, like you pass away."
And I'm like, what's the worst case scenario? And then I just started reading all these horrendous things that could go wrong. Oh my God, it was horrible.
But it's defo been worth defo. Who do I think I am?
You don't say defo.
It's definitely been worth it in the long run. One thing that you raised to me that I've never thought about. What did you ask for me before we started filming?
Well, it wasn't that I asked. I just said, being a biological male, you will have to have prostate checks.
Yeah. So
and then you were a bit like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, you have a prostate, babe."
I literally learned this 5 minutes before filming, and I've just Googled it, as we all do. And one thing I did read, though, is that prostate cancer is triggered generally by testosterone, but having...
Is that why...
Yeah.
So testosterone triggers, or can trigger, prostate cancer, and women don't get it because women don't have prostates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But even, obviously, I take hormones and I have, like, estrogen high levels now, so my testosterone is very, very low. But that's one interesting thing as well. The testosterone blocker that trans women take, like, that I have had in the past, it's an injection that I used to get. And I Googled the name of it. This is how strong it is. I had it once every 3 months. And do you know what else it was used for? Prostate cancer.
To treat prostate cancer.
Because the treatment for prostate cancer, or one of the treatments that they do, is removing or reducing the testosterone because it reduces the cancer or something like that. So I Googled the name of this thing that I'm having put in my body to know what it is. And that really freaked me out, that aspect of it. Because I'm like, that's when I was like, this is strong stuff that I'm doing to my body, so it's something to think about. But one thing as well that I now have to get and be cautious of is breast cancer, because I now have breast tissue with the hormones, even though they were very minimal before the surgery. I've had this surgery, if you didn't know. I had like double A cups, but even then, because the estrogen caused like a second puberty and you develop breast tissue, that means there is a chance to have breast cancer. So throughout my life, I will have mammogram?
Mammogram?
It's not going to be a manogram, isn't it?
Mammogram.
Where they put you...
Yeah, and they squish them on a table.
Do you know what freaks me out? I know this wouldn't happen, but all I keep thinking
they
is
always say
my
it's
implant
cold. They always say, like my mum's had them and my nan's had them, and I've spoken to girls and women that have had them, and they always generally say, "Oh, it's cold," because of the
metal plate. But that's something I then have to think about in future. So many things you don't realise. At the start of transition, I think everyone is so happy that they're finally starting to work towards the life they've always wanted. They're going to be comfortable in their own skin.
You just got to remember not to forget about
All these
where
other-
you came
other-
from.
Other important aspects.
Yeah, and like, you know, and you always say this, and you have since day one, you're very aware that you're a biological male.
Yeah, of course.
And that you're a trans woman. So you obviously need to remember when it comes to your health, you need to think of it as...
Well, yeah, like going into the hospital, if I don't have a prostate check, because it's mandatory, isn't it, for men to have them, biological men.
It's not mandatory, but
Well, they do it when you get to a certain age.
Yeah,
so when I get to a certain
asked to
age,
come in
if I don't get asked, I will call, because my medical records, I believe, should still say I'm transgender, just so the doctors know.
I'm pretty sure it is on there. And same applies to trans men, pre-op. Again, because inside, biologically, they're female, their health risks and health scares still apply. So, you know, ovarian cancer, cervix cancer.
Yeah.
So anything to do with breast cancer.
The female reproductive system.
Basically, and breast cancer before, if you haven't had the top surgery yet to remove them.
Do you know one final thing I'll say on the health thing? I was considering a BBL. And I know people are going to go off in the comments, and it's a very risky. It's the highest risk surgery.
The bum.
The Brazilian butt lift.
Yeah.
It's got the highest mortality rate of any surgery. It is a risky surgery, and I understand that. And I was going to get one because I still feel quite masculine in that part of my body, like my hips, and I don't have female hips because I was born male. And
that's one thing that you want.
It was a surgery I really did want, and I was this close to booking it. But I chickened out because I realised it's so risky. I didn't want to put myself in that risk. And I was going to go to maybe not the best surgeon. That's also something to think about, going to the best surgeons possible, trained in their field, because they are changing your body permanently.
Yeah, and BBLs are very invasive surgery. You can't
So
sit
it
down
kind of
properly
freaked
for
me
like
out.
3
And I've
months.
read a couple of news articles about some cases that went horribly wrong. And ever since then, it's put me off for now. So it's not something on my priority list at the moment. But that's all my opinion on the surgery aspect.
The BBL surgery, it's a lot to, like, for me, that would be so much. And I'm not, obviously, if you want, I've never said you can't.
No,
I've
no,
never
I
said
know.
you don't get any of these. I've never put you off them. But the BBL was a big thing for me.
I think because that's what the one you see all the news articles about. That's what you see on the news, and the viral posts of someone unfortunately passing away or having complications or getting stuck abroad because of the complications. And also from the trans women I've spoken to who have had it, like, they say it's the worst one. The recovery is really hard. You can't sit down properly for 3 months. Like, how do I go to work? I have a desk job. All these different factors. You struggle to drive, and it's a really long recovery. Like I said, it's a lot. And I mean, I want to transition and feel the best I can, but I also have to think about, like, my mental health and well-being as well, and also my physical health.
We'll talk about mental health, I think, in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll save it for another day, a rainy day. But I think, to sum up, I think when all trans people transition, at the start, I think the health is the last thing they're thinking about. It was for me. I can't speak for everyone. But for me personally, I didn't care, in all honesty, what the hormones were going to do, the risk of surgery. I just was so unhappy in the body and mind that I had that I needed to change to be happy.
As soon as you came out to me, literally like a few hours later, you were on YouTube watching all the surgeries, watching all of the things that you need.
I think
and
it's because I waited for so long. Like, I had suppressed it I knew for 12 years, and I just buried it deep down. So when I finally allowed myself to feel that way, and then you accepted me, because you accepted
you were like,
me,
let's just
I'm
go.
like, oh my gosh, this is something I can do. I don't have to live as this miserable man. Not that I was always miserable, I had happy moments, but you know what I mean. But I think trans healthcare is something that they're definitely developing, learning more on, and I think it's something to always keep in your mind if you transition, or if you are going to transition, that some health rules still apply. Like, I will need a prostate check, and I'm fine with that because it's my health and it's important.
Yeah, and I would always say just slow down, because you've got the rest of your life to get to where you need to be. You were zooming through everything, and
all trans people are like that.
Yeah, I know, but I was just like, look, chill out. It's a journey. We're going through it. We're going to get there. And obviously that was like, what, 3 years ago now? And at the time you were like, oh, no. But like, now look where you are 3 years later compared to where you were. And you've taken it in your stride, and yeah, it's just, you don't cut corners, especially with surgeries. Like my granddad used to always say, if you buy cheap, you buy twice.
Yeah.
And whether that's through money or consequences, surgeries, I would always say, which is what we've done. We've usually got 3 quotes for surgery.
Do your research.
Do your research. Do your research on the surgeons involved, but get 3 quotes. You'll get an expensive one, a cheap one, and a middle one. And I would say go with the middle one or above, just because if they're cheap, especially if you're flying to places that look a bit dodgy. I mean, again, I can't speak for every bad experience. I'm not saying like going to Turkey to get your surgeries is bad, because
there's some really good surgeons in
there's
Turkey.
great surgeons, there's great surgeries.
But there's also dodgy ones.
Yeah, in like, for example, if you get your surgeries in the UK, they are very expensive compared to going abroad.
I've had one in the UK.
Yeah, you had your breast done in the UK.
I've had 2 in the UK.
You've had 2, but your breasts were more expensive than the other one, than your other surgery you've had. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, your breasts were expensive, and you could have probably got them done for half the price abroad. Yeah. But would you have been looked after as well?
No one would do it.
Would they not?
No, I did an inquiry with a surgeon in Turkey. I just wanted to see like what price, what they could recommend. But when I explained that I'm a trans woman and they saw my before photos, they've just flat out refused to do it.
Yeah, I think
they said we can't do that because we don't know how to do it. Basically,
the thing is with the company that you went, Cosmetic, they specialise in
trans top
surgery as well.
Male to female breast augmentation and female to male
top surgery.
Removal,
is it? There's a word for it, isn't there?
It's a mastectomy.
It's a mastectomy. Thank you, Google.
They specialise in trans surgeries, so I felt really comfortable going there because they'd done lots of other patients like me. That's also another thing as well. Like, getting different surgeries, like if you're a trans woman, for instance, having a brow lift or having a breast augmentation, it's always going to be a little bit different because the canvas they're working on isn't what they're used to working on. So that's another reason, shop around and try and go
that's why you've got to be aware it might be a little bit more expensive than someone else, because it's a specialist skill, I suppose. Any final thoughts?
I think just let us know what you think below.
Slow down, take your time.
Let us know what you think below. If you're a trans person or taking hormones or transitioning or have ever had a surgery, not necessarily trans, like, did you think about all these things? Is it something that concerned you? Or has these concerns stopped you getting surgeries? I'm very much pro what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. And obviously for me, I can attest to that. But yeah, that's my final thoughts. I have a question for you.
Someone else?
Well, someone's asked me and I'm going to ask it. From I Don't Tiptoe 1519. Okay. I have a question. What are your favourite foods? That's one bit, but this is the bit I want you to answer. Liam, do you regret any of your tattoos?
My favourite food in the world is pizza, without a doubt. I absolutely love pizza. If calories weren't a thing and I didn't have to train and I could eat what I want, I genuinely would have pizza every single day.
But these biceps.
I mean, they're not.
Did you just flex? You just flex. You just flex when I felt it.
Right. If anybody grabs a man's bicep, it is just an instant response to...
I feel how beefy.
To tens.
Oh my gosh, I still have quite big muscles.
Yeah, you're doing all right. What was the other part?
Do you regret any of your tattoos? That's what I want to know.
I don't regret any of my tattoos. That's absolutely
none of them.
No. And do you know what it is? Working in Tesco on the checkouts, most people are like, "Wow, I love your tattoos. They're really cool." Blah blah. But you do get the odd one that's like, "Why have you done that to yourself?" Oh, what are you going to do when you get to the old people's home when you're older? Nothing, because most people in the old people's home when I get older are probably going to have tattoos anyway.
Well, that's the thing. It's a generational thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't have any regret. There are some that are a bit rubbish compared to the other ones, but I don't regret them. This one here is the worst one I've got in terms of like the detail. I put it on screen and whatnot. It's supposed to be an angel sat on a stopwatch, which is showing the time that I was born, but as you can see, the lines are not great. But I don't regret it, because the tattoos that I've got around it, it blends in, and I could always just get it redone anyway.
Yeah.
But I haven't, the thing is, probably the reason I don't regret the tattoos is because I haven't gone and got a partner's name on me. Like some people do, and then they don't stay with them. Well, that's different. The thing is, would I feel comfortable getting your name on me now? I would.
Oh,
yeah, I
would.
would. Well, I might do.
Yeah, you should.
Well, all right, we'll see. But I don't have any that I regret, because there isn't anything that's on me that wouldn't still be on me.
I regret most of mine.
Does that make sense?
They did ask Alexis, do you have any tattoos? And I regret most of mine. I have like 4 or 5, and I only like this one on my wrist a little.
Yeah, because it's
I can't
dainty,
show it. Lyrics from a song on my ribs, which is now stretched and distorted from a breast augmentation, which I didn't know I was going to get at the time. I've got one on my upper back that is... They're all neat, but like the one on my back, It's just ugly.
you
And
could-
like
you-
we're getting married next year, and I'm gonna have to put makeup on it because I don't want it visible.
Or you could just get a cover up, something pretty.
Yeah,
You could get it hidden in some flowers or
tattoos
something.
are the last thing on my mind when I've got all these other surgery things to plan.
Maybe
Well, I
something
regret most
afterwards.
of mine,
We
but
could
luckily
be a,
the
we
most
could
are
be a
hidden.
tattooed power couple. How do you feel about
I don't
that?
want to be tattooed.
Oh, you with a neck tattoo.
No,
Rah.
no. I don't think that's my
Is it not
vibe.
your
It's not my
your
vibe.
cup of tea, is it?
Anyway, thank you for the question. If you have any questions, comment below.
I've got a question.
Not that many people ask, so when people do ask, we do actually answer.
Yeah, we do. And they don't need to be about trans or LGBT. So they can literally be about anything, can't they?
Also, the people who are listening to this podcast will not know what your tattoo is because you described it. Ignore me. Go on. Sorry.
I described it.
Sorry. Hello, podcast
I know, but
listeners.
that is one. Hello, podcast listeners. That is one thing that because when we record the podcast, we record it as a video for YouTube, and then I simply just extract the audio.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I think it comes across okay.
Yeah.
You know, but I do appreciate that we can't show our listeners what.
Yeah.
But you could always jump on the YouTube and watch it.
There you go.
You could always. You know what it is? If you get to a part in the podcast which you're listening to that's like, let's say 5 minutes 10, just note it down and then jump on YouTube and watch that bit and you're like, now I get what they're talking about.
You're still good at PR.
I know, do you know, I should have been a PR manager or
You
something.
should. That was so
Damage
camp. That was so
I
camp.
am camp sometimes.
I love it when he's camp.
Do you know what? I'd love to do damage control. I'd love to do that.
you'd be
Yeah,
good
I'd be
at
good at that. Right. Question number
Right.
2. And this is from user lots of letters and numbers.
Yep.
Does Liam play any video games?
Let me see if I can guess.
What TV do you guys watch? So,
Right, I'm going to tell you the video
are you going to tell me
play.
the video games? I want you to tell me the video games, the 4 video games that I'm playing right now.
It's far. Mm-hmm. Right.
There's about 10, but I thought I'd give you an easy question.
I know COD is one of them.
Right.
Modern Warzone. Warfare. Modern Warfare.
Do you know what? I'll give you that because it's Modern Warfare 3, but I play Warzone, which is the game
I
mode.
was about to say Warzone, so that's 2.
Yeah, well, no, it's not 2.
It's 2 different games. It's 2 different types. It's 2.
It's the same.
You say different ones, so that's
No,
2.
no.
A third one you play, I'm going to say watch. You also play that one with Beth, with, it's not Dungeons and Dragons.
No, but you are on the right path, and it does start with a D.
You did play Harry Potter for a while.
No, go back to the other one. You can't get out. You got to name it. Diagonal Alley.
Diablo.
Yes.
You play that one. That's 3.
What number is it though?
I don't know.
Diablo what?
7?
4.
I don't have a clue. And then another game that you're playing, one on your own.
I'll give you a clue. Wom.
Star Wars.
Star Wars what?
17.
No. No.
No?
Outlaws.
I mean, all to me that.
So yeah, I'm playing those games. I am playing many more, but I won't put you through any more quizzes. And TV shows we're watching at the moment.
We're watching Snowpiercer.
Watching Snowpiercer. So what have we just finished that we really enjoyed? What was it called? Severance.
That was really good.
That was fabulous. It's on Apple TV, and basically these workers, they go down in a lift, and when they get to the bottom, their memories of the outside world are kind of flipped to the inside world, and they're 2 separate consciousnesses.
Yeah.
So they don't have, so either of them, they're aware of each other, but they don't share the same conscious. So what happens at work stays at work, what happens at home stays at home.
Yeah.
But obviously all is not as it
There's
seems.
lots of stuff going
It's
on.
brilliant.
Really good.
Severance, really
and then we just
enjoying
started the one on the train. I don't know what it's called though. It's
We've
on BBC.
just started-
If you're not in England, sorry.
You can get BBC in America, babe.
Oh,
They have BBC America.
I thought it was called like British
No.
Broadcasting Channel.
Well, it is, but we get American channels here, don't we?
Was that what it's called?
British Broadcast. Yeah, anyway, we get American TV here, don't we?
Well, yeah.
So they
forgot
you
about
can get British TV in America, babe.
That's what
But
we're
yeah,
watching though.
it's set on a train. It's called, what's it?
Night Sleeper.
Night Sleeper. Yeah.
you go. That's really good.
We just started watching that, and we're right enjoying that at the moment.
I think that is everything. So we're gonna let Blake do the outro.
Is Blake gonna say bye?
This is Blake. Oh, he looks so upset. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. He's going to jump straight off. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions,
if you
comment
do,
below.
yes, and if you do enjoy this kind of content, if you do enjoy this, if you do enjoy this kind of content, please
It just took Liam 4 goes to get that right.
I haven't got it right yet. If you do enjoy this kind of content, please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
That's right.
No, wait, Lou, you can listen to it back. Sorry, go on.
And hit that notification bell for instant notifications on when
We're
you
available on
post a new
podcasts
video.
across all the podcast places. Just search
All
for
the
Blake
podcast
Debate.
places.
The Blake Debate.
Yeah, search for the Blake Debate on YouTube. No, on that other thing.
Are you all right? Are we all right?
On Google. Search for the Blake Debate on Google and it will come up on all the broadcast. So someone told me the other day, I listened to your podcast.
ADHD is strong
and I was
today,
like,
babe. I cannot keep up with
I was
you.
like, all right, do you listen to it? Straight away, the go-to is Spotify or Apple Music. And they were like, oh no, I listened to it on Comcast. Compost? No.
What's that?
I don't know. I can't remember what it was called, but it's this other. So basically, even though we post our podcast on them platforms, because I use an RSS feed, which I won't bore you with that, but basically
God.
it is available on other services as well.
Anyway, you can watch our podcast if you don't
And
want to
listen
see
to
our
it.
faces.
And
Thank you
listen
so
to
much for watching.
And oh wait, Biggie wants to say bye too.
This is the most ADHD you've seen in a video. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
So squishy.
That was so much ADHD. I'm so overwhelmed.